She was trembling. Eyes wide. Her hands desperately clutching the edge of the table as two men tried to drag her out of the cafe, until a voice thundered from behind. "Touch my wife again, and you'll regret it." The entire cafe went silent. And that's how it all began. Backhand index pointing right. If this story moves your heart, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more real-life inspired emotional stories that remind us of the strength in kindness and love. It was a rainy Tuesday morning. The kind of morning where the streets glisten from the overnight drizzle, and people huddle in cafes with warm drinks to escape the gloom. One such cafe, the Bean Nook, was a quiet little corner place near the city library. And sitting in the farthest booth was a young woman named Isla. She was quiet, gentle-looking, dressed plainly in a cardigan and jeans. Her hair was tied back, her face pale, lips trembling as she stared into a steaming cup of coffee she hadn't touched in the past 30 minutes. People came and went. She didn't. The barista, a college student named Lena, noticed. Isla had been there for over 2 hours. She looked nervous, constantly glancing at the door like she was waiting for someone, or hiding from someone. And then they came. 2 men in suits. One bald, one bearded. Eyes cold, shoulders squared. They walked in, looked around, and spotted her. Isla, the bearded one, said sharply. She froze. Her spoon clattered into the cup. "No, please," she whispered. Before anyone could react, they were at her table. They grabbed her arms. "You've caused enough trouble. You're coming back." "No. I'm not going with you," Isla cried, resisting. She tried to pull away, but the bald one gripped her tighter. The cafe stood stunned. No one moved. Just stunned stares, murmurs, awkward glances between strangers unsure what was happening. And then... bang! The door flung open so hard it slammed against the wall. A man entered, panting, rain-soaked, and furious. "Let her go," he growled. They ignored him. The man took 3 heavy steps forward and yelled. "Touch my wife again, and you'll regret it." Isla looked up. Her face transformed instantly, relief, fear, and something else. Recognition. The cafe's silence deepened. The bald man scoffed. "Wife?" The bearded one narrowed his eyes. "You're not part of this." The man stepped forward and pulled Isla behind him. "My name is Ethan Brooks," he said. "And if you don't leave right now, I'll call the police, and I'll make sure you never lay a hand on her again." One of the men laughed. "She's under surveillance. She stole from her employer." "She didn't steal anything," Ethan said firmly. "She ran. From you." The 2 men hesitated. Ethan pulled out his phone and started dialing. "Try me." And just like that, they left. No fight. No shouting match. Just the power of a man who stood tall, not with fists, but with conviction. Once the door closed, Isla collapsed into Ethan's arms and began to sob. And that's when people started whispering. He called her his wife. Are they married? Who is she? The answer was, complicated. Ethan, 34, a single dad to a 9-year-old girl named Mia, was a quiet soul who'd been through more storms than he liked to admit. His wife had passed 3 years ago from cancer. Since then, he'd focused only on 2 things, raising Mia, and rebuilding their life with peace, not pain. He had met Isla 2 months ago, not as his wife, but as a stranger hiding under the bus shelter during a storm. She was soaked, shivering, barefoot. Something about her face, the haunted look in her eyes, made Ethan stop. He offered her a ride. She said no. He left, but came back 10 minutes later with a blanket and coffee. That's how their story began. One small act of kindness. That's all it took. Over the weeks, Isla opened up in pieces. She'd been trapped in a corporate cult, a fake charitable organization that preyed on young women with no families. They gave them jobs, housing, food, but under the surface, they controlled every part of their lives. Manipulation. Gaslighting. Financial abuse. Emotional threats. When she tried to leave, they made her sign false documents saying she owed them thousands. She ran anyway. Ethan believed her. No one else had. He took her in. Not romantically. Not yet. Just, safe space. Mia, his daughter, adored her. Isla taught her how to braid her hair, helped with homework, painted with her. The little girl began calling her Miss Isla and asking if she could stay forever. And Ethan? He found himself smiling again. 2 months after that first encounter, Ethan asked Isla to stay. Not because he felt sorry for her, but because their home felt more with her in it. Mia laughed louder. Dinner tasted better. Even the walls felt warmer. He offered her the guest room permanently. "I'm not asking you to be anyone you're not," he said. "But if this feels like a home, it's yours." Tears in her eyes, she nodded. That's why he called her his wife at the cafe. Not out of romance, but out of protection. He'd promised her she'd never feel helpless again. But as fate would have it, that moment changed everything. That lie planted something real. The cafe incident hit social media. Someone had filmed it. Man stands up for woman being harassed in cafe, calls her his wife. The video went viral. People were praising Ethan. Asking about Isla. Commenting on how real their bond looked. Isla was terrified. What if they saw it, the men from before? But Ethan made a decision. He got a lawyer. Exposed the shady organization. Filed a protective order. Helped Isla file her case with proper authorities. The video helped. Public pressure mounted. Investigations opened. And through it all, he held her hand. "You said I was your wife," she once whispered to him on the porch. He looked at her, quiet for a moment. Then said, "I didn't say it because I had to. I said it because, in that moment, I meant it." The organization was shut down. Isla testified. Dozens of women were freed from that trap. Some came forward after seeing her story online. Isla didn't just escape her past, she faced it. And Ethan? He stood beside her every step of the way. One chilly evening, on Mia's 10th birthday, with fairy lights in the backyard and cupcakes in hand, Ethan took Isla aside. "Mia's been calling you Mom for weeks," he said. Isla looked away. "I didn't want to assume." "I'd like you to be," Ethan said gently. "For real this time." Tears welled in her eyes. "You sure?" she whispered. He smiled. "I was sure the moment you made her smile again. The moment you made me believe there was something beautiful waiting on the other side of grief." They married the next spring. Nothing grand. Just close friends, laughter, Mia throwing flower petals in the backyard. Isla now helps women who've escaped similar abuse. She turned her pain into purpose. Her wounds became wisdom. And Ethan? He still works his 9 to 5, still makes Mia's lunch every morning, still holds Isla's hand when the memories come back. Because he knows love isn't always born from fireworks. Sometimes, it's born in a rainstorm. In a quiet act of kindness. In a lie that turns out to be the truth you didn't know you needed.